trade review. So I'm sorry for not. Yeah, but it could be trade review. Like we're gonna go through the STA. Pretty much I called out on Twitter, I think. But we're also gonna go through the price action and do a price action review here. So as I think here, I think pretty much we have taken out this time-based liquidity. I talked about this potentially being an high, sold in here, and potentially also reversing, reaching down lower, which is potentially what we could have seen now. So that's potentially what we could have seen here. Yes, you can mix the ST with anything, alright? So you can mix the ST with quarterly theory, you can mix it with whatever, alright? Anything which what you prefer, pretty much, you can mix it with, alright? But as of now, at least, pretty much we have traded down all the way here. Potentially, this will be high of the overall market maker sell model here, reaching for the previous year low. So potentially, this will be the small reversal, reaching down lower here. All right, potentially, that's an added potential for this. Now, of course, then you have the daily here, in which you have the first fractal low here, which is of course the first drawn liquidity you should have. After the first fractal of this market maker sell model has completed, we could fail. We could trade into OT here and trade up higher, aka exactly what happened here. So here we had a market maker model here. First fractal was completed right there, but here it failed, and I had a call about this. This failed down lower here, where this was the original consolidation, which we have taken out now. Looking at the COT, which is something we'll look at next Saturday. What do I think will have happened here? I think the large speculators have gotten taken out, and if you actually look into the seasonalities, you pretty much see the seasonalities reaching down lower. So potentially, now we're gonna see continued lower price here, reaching down lower, reaching for the first fractal, second fractal right here, right, and then reaching for equal lows right here, which of course is these equal lows. So with this original consolidation low and this, and that's particularly what I'm watching. Now I don't want to call out any highs or something to that extent, but what I did is that I said this would be at least an intermediate high during last call, potentially the high of 4 years or something to that extent, in which this could actually be the high of 4 years. And I'm actually in a euro long now, so a euro swing long, which I'll showcase later. So I'll show you guys some executions potentially here. And as everybody can see right there, we had the time-based liquidity. We're reaching down lower. We took out the time-based liquidity. Large speculators might be out, and we might be reaching down lower for the first fractal at least, and then reaching for the second fractal, in which this is the things I'm watching for on a week-to-week, day-to-day level. All right. So going into overall more intraday price here. So on an intraday basis, what I said particularly could happen. Watching last Sunday, please go in and watch that call, because in there pretty much you hear me calling out all of these things live. Alright, so in there you pretty much hear me calling out each and every little thing there live. Alright, and I'll pretty much more or less spam y'all when you're watching this recorded up on YouTube. Like I'll spam the last video I had. So go into my YouTube here, click on the last video I particularly had, in which I overall called this being an intermediate high, and I watched the overall weekly expansion being lower, in which exactly that's what we got. So you saw Monday consolidation, like I said. Tuesday expansion reaching into this, which of course was the new week opening gap. Traded into this, having this expansionary manipulation move. Then of course from Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday we reached down lower. Here was Thursday. Now what do I think will happen tomorrow? Alright, and this is some sauce for everybody. I'm particularly watching manipulation higher here, reaching into this once again, because here we have an order block minus, which is why I have this annotated. So I'm going to have that as a drawn liquidity, but I'm particularly focusing on time-based liquidity. So I'm particularly focusing on this and on this low right here. Watching the sell side, and I'm watching over us after taking the sell side or any time-based liquidity sell side here, reaching up higher into this order block. That's something I'm particularly keen on watching. Now, if y'all just go back, and I'll pretty much load up my Twitter here so everybody can see it. Or I'll actually do that when we go into particularly go in and watch. I'm sorry, when we go in and watch euros, potentially the euro price action. So that's a potential for that. And what I sent out, and I'll pretty much send it to you guys here. if I'm just scrolling down here, uh, read near Tuesday. Yeah, they called out more or less here the whole week. You say so. If we go in here, I was in a euro long here with an STE, and that was the only STE pretty much I've looked for throughout the whole week. So as everybody can see here, what I said was uh, if we go all the way below the 900 low on EURUSD, there will be a potential ST, and this was overall during the Wednesday, I would say, 2024, and that's 1530. So we'll just go through that right now. So let's just jump onto Euro here. EURUSD. Why is not my EURUSD showing up? Let's just do this way. So just loading it up here. What everybody can see here on Euro is that I pretty much said potentially this would be a low, an intermediate low, or a long-term low here. Alright, and I said watch this time-based liquidity, in which we'll go through what time-based liquidity actually is later. And of course we're watching this being a low risk buy to this market maker buy model. So you can see this high time for market maker buy model here, low risk buy, reaching up higher, reaching for the previous yearly high, and of course taking out this time-based liquidity, in which this is an STA up higher. Alright, as the externals is telling me bullish for Euro, bearish for the DXY. Now that's just what I gotta know. And that's a major sauce, by the way. But of course, just focusing in on the daily chart here, and of course here, pretty much Wednesday low was exactly what I called out when we took out the 930. I think I might be lying here, but we're gonna go in and watch that later. So I pretty much show it. So don't worry, guys. But particularly what I'm keen on happening now is of course reaching for the first fractal high, which is this. Then we could potentially fail it and reach down all the way for the sell side. But I'm at least watching this as a strong John liquidity right there, this level, and I'm watching this potentially, alright, with this equal highs up here, these equal highs right there. But at least first fractal, and I'm watching the high prices and potentially this being an intermediate or long-term low. I could be wrong, so please follow your own analysis, like I always state. Going into the 1 hour time frame here, so just focusing in on the 1 hourly time frame here, you pretty much see that I actually took longs right there. So I actually sent the executions here, like it's a combination of the two. So you pretty much see I entered longs somewhere in here. And what do I think? I think potentially next week we could form an SMT between it and the DXY, where the DXY definitely do not reach for its new week opening high. But as we still have this open, we still have left with a potential of it running all the way down in here, sweeping this, which in this case would be previous weekly low getting swept and reaching up higher, which in this case is also time-based liquidity. Now that's particularly not what I'm watching. I'm watching just us reaching up higher tomorrow, taking out this time-based liquidity, reaching down lower, reaching for any sort of time-based liquidity, and reaching up higher. And I'll just show you what that looks like. That's of course something I'm watching next week, so not particularly tomorrow, but during the next coming days, and particularly next coming week. That's something I'm watching. Now of course let's just go down into the 5-minute time frame here, and particularly this is the showcase of the STA, the only good STA I would say throughout the whole week. Potentially you guys took another STA, but ST, but this is the only good ST. So here it was actually Tuesday. I'm sorry for saying it was Wednesday, but you can see it was Tuesday here sent 11th, and this was well, let's see, this was 26, and this is 26 here, 26/11, and it was sent 15:30. But here you can see the 9 low, and of course here you can see 9/930. So here you can see the low right there. I said if we run that lower, and I said this 15:30 here, so 15:30 potentially was right at this high right there. So I said if we were to run all the way down in here, and look what I marked out after that. So look what I marked out, sending out this I pretty much sent just straight afterwards when pretty much that had happened. So what I said was that we're gonna run down lower here. If you would use the ST Fed wire alignments, you'll see the only alignment under this was particularly at the 10461 1001, right? So let's just annotate that one. So it's 104 610,101. So it was particularly here. So of course, little bit of downwards movement here. Once again reaching into it, and of course then reaching up higher. So that was the only good STA, and look how it ran. Look at that. After the STA was activated, or STE. I'm sorry for mispronouncing it. STE ran up higher, ran for these equal highs, and ran through most of the liquidity here. Do you guys want me to go through pretty much the alignments I use for this, or do you guys just want me to pretty much just continue with the call? Because that was overall the ST I was particularly keen on and looking for. So let's just go through the alignments. So particularly what I used here was the previous day 9:30. So 9 right here, 9:30 here, and of course 14:30 for this given day, or for the previous day. So that's what you gotta do. You gotta use the previous day like I've gone through previously. 15:30 here. And I just overall split them here. So I took from this range high to this range low right there, as everybody can see. Everybody can see this, by the way, hopefully. Then I took this from this range high to this range low right there. Now the alignment I was using, particularly here, I think it was this one right there, where you have this and the upper quadrant of this. You're using it on UTC was +1. Yes, that's correct, because now we have had daylight savings, so UTC +1 is correct. Now, of course, you're gonna use this right here, which is the upper quadrant of this, and you're using the 0. So you're using the 0 and the lower quadrant right here, potentially giving you like a little bit. It's like 1 pip of a difference, but of course it's just because I marked it out pretty whack, but it still works. So that's pretty much how you would have marked that out. And that was potentially, I would say, the only very good STE throughout this entire week. You can see pretty much go through my Twitter. I also called out loads of other things, but yeah. Today we had bad price action. So what am I keen on looking for tomorrow? Potentially what I'm looking for is just run on time-based liquidity, in which is a thing I'll go through today, and then reach for opposite time-based liquidity on the south side. Alright, and that's just something I'm going to watch, and that would be a counterparty STA. That's another sort of an STA you could take. And that's just a little bit of hints towards the STA. Let's just go through time-based liquidity. So, on an intraday time frame, there is 2 primary time-based liquidity points. Alright, the first one is the Asia range high, or the Asia CLS range high, and Asia CLS range low. These are the Asia CLS range high right there. This is the Asia CLS range low from 1 to 7. So just remember, the first time-based liquidity points is the range high and the range low from 1 to 7. That's the CLS Asia range. Alright, that's the management of settlements at the start of the given date. So very early morning here. Alright. The second sort of time-based liquidity point, alright, is London range liquidity. I don't use New York range, I use London range. London range liquidity ranges from 9 to overall 1300, and the time-based liquidity here gets activated after 1300. So this is the second sort of time-based liquidity point you have intraday, which is the range high and the range low. Alright, this right here. Now, the other time-based liquidity points is previous daily highs and previous daily lows. Alright, it needs to be previous daily highs and previous daily lows. Can't be 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Needs to be previous daily high and previous daily low. Third time-based liquidity point is overall previous weekly high and previous weekly lows. Alright, previous weekly highs and previous weekly lows. Then you have previous monthly highs and previous monthly lows for the previous month, not 2 months ago. Needs to be previous months, and I'm gonna go through some examples of this. Then you of course also have previous yearly highs and previous yearly lows, in which that is exactly what we have taken out right now. So we have actually taken out this sort of time-based liquidity, and that's previous yearly low, which is That's why we're watching a big time STA reaching up higher. Alright? That's some major sauce for everybody here. Major sauce. Alright, so what is now, why am I using these sort of time-based liquidity points? So time-based liquidity points like this is something I particularly is keen on using, as it's specified liquidity. It's liquidity where overall I'm not using any sort of random highs and random lows. I'm using the same highs and the same lows, just on different dates, of course. Just on different days. And what you will notice if you go through all my trades is that I always have a time-based liquidity sweep. Always. I never trade without the time-based liquidity sweep. And that's something I would suggest you guys to incorporate. Now, how do you find time-based liquidity, and where do ICT go through it? It does not go through time-based liquidity. That's sort of something I've come up with myself. ICT goes through it, but very briefly. Alright, he goes through previous daily lows, previous daily highs. He talks about those things, but he does not talk about it as one given concept, in which what I've just combined all of the given specified times high, specified times low, gone through them specifically, and then put them all together in one singular concept, in which I call time-based liquidity. So that's the concept, guys. Now you have the times, now you have the things. Watch my previous videos and now you will understand time-based liquidity to 100% extent. Hopefully you guys join in on the call tomorrow. I just had this call being super brief, and I'm gonna fix a lot of things in the server. I think it looks like a mess right now. I have a lot of things to fix, and I have a lot of things to upgrade for you guys, in which that's exactly what I'm gonna do right now. So you will notice that the channels will change a little bit. They will become much more cleaner. It will be have a much easier time of actually finding things and understanding the things, and understanding the complexity and the comprehension of the concepts. So that's particularly what I'm gonna do now. Anyways, guys, see you.